their Social Security disability benefits every single year. Probably in 2026, we're probably looking at over about 800,000 people are going to lose their Social Security disability insurance. And I broke it down into three groups. We talk about each one of these issues every now and then, but people are just not getting the information and they're losing benefits and they're stressing when they shouldn't. They're making their lives so much more difficult because they just don't have the information. Unfortunately, Social Security doesn't have the staff to tell people about this. They don't have the budget to get it out there. So we're depending on you guys to share this. Some people have already shared it with their brothers, and I guess the particular brother didn't want to hear it. But anyway, here are the groups. So we've got three groups that we're going to talk about today. So about 800,000 are going to lose their Social Security disability benefits. I'm not going to talk about SSI, supplemental security income. You can also get disability benefits based on SSI. That's a whole different category we'll talk about some other time. But we're going to talk about SSDI today, Social Security Disability Insurance. Millions of people are receiving that, and over 800,000 are going to lose those benefits next year. So there's three groups. Group one, it's freedom. So that's the largest group. Over 500,000 people will lose their Social Security disability benefits in 2026. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Group two is fight back. That's probably about 100,000 people. And there's hundreds of thousands of people in group three that don't know there's more money out there. Okay, so let's break this down, and please share this. Comment. Whenever you comment, it helps the algorithm, and it gets out to more people. A lot of people out there are struggling, worried about CDRs, continuing disability reviews, and all the rest of it. Okay, here's the deal. My regular viewers know where I'm going with this one, but if you're new here, this is for you. If you know anybody that are receiving Social Security disability benefits and they're approaching their full retirement age. When you reach your full retirement age, you stop getting disability benefits. Your SSDI stops. So there's over 500,000 people that will reach their full retirement age in 2026, and their disability benefits from Social Security will stop. This is the freedom group. They are lucky they're losing their disability benefits. Hold on, don't start yelling at the TV yet. They are lucky they're losing their Social Security disability benefits because, number one, that means they made it to their full retirement age, 67 years old nowadays. So that's a good thing. Every day above ground's a good day. But because they're losing their Social Security disability benefits, they're losing their disability benefits, but they're not losing their Social Security benefits. Their disability benefits simply switch to regular retirement benefits. It's just a bureaucratic thing people don't realize, and they're making their lives harder because of it. Once you hit your full retirement age, the Social Security Administration stops taking that money out of the Social Security Disability Trust Fund and starts taking out of the Social Security Retirement Trust Fund. And the check stays the same, direct deposit stays the same, but you get freedom in two aspects. Number one, because you're no longer on disability. Obviously, if you're disabled, you're still going to be, listed as disabled, but you're not getting a disability check. You're getting a retirement check. And because you're not receiving a disability check, you do not have any more CDRs, those continuing disability reviews that everybody worries about and stresses about and says, oh, I wonder if I'll get my CDR this year, and am I going to be prepared for it? How do I fill out the forms? Will I get canceled? Will I lose my benefits? What's the nightmare? Do I have to appeal? Do I have to get a lawyer? All this kind of stuff. People really, really stress out about CDRs, which I've talked about this before. You really shouldn't. Well, that's group two we'll talk about. So once you hit your full retirement age, your disability benefits stop, and it switched to regular retirement benefits. Again, you still continue to get your Medicare if you got it. You still get the same exact check. You get it direct deposit on the same exact day. Most people don't even realize their benefits were switched from disability to retirement. And here's the second freedom that you get. No more work limitations. When you're on disability benefits, you are allowed to work. There's a bunch of limitations, IRWs and trial work periods and extended period of eligibility and all this stuff. Once you hit your full retirement age, all that goes out the window. So we get people on our live Q&A, which we'll start here in a little bit. We get people on our live Q&A every now and then says, oh, I'm 72 years old and some friend offered me a job and just sitting at her store and I was going to make some more money, but since I'm on disability, I refused the job. I would really like to take it, but I don't want to get kicked off disability. And we're like, you're not on disability benefits anymore. You're 72 years old. Your disability benefits stopped years and years and years ago when you probably at that 65 or 66. So no more CDRs, no more work incentives, no more work limitations. You are 100% free to do whatever you want. So freedom is an awesome thing. Again, congratulations, you made it to 67 or 66 in 10 months or whatever the case may be. You no longer have CDRs and you no longer have work limitations. You're free to do whatever you want. All right, group 2 is the fight back one. That's about 100,000 people or so, over 100,000 people that are going to lose their Social Security disability benefits because of one of two issues, either a work or a medical CDR. A CDR is a continuing disability review. And that number is going to increase considerably in 2026. The current administration is increasing CDRs significantly. So if a bunch of people out there says, hey, I haven't got a CDR in a while. I was supposed to get one last year, but I didn't. You just might get one this coming year. So the trick on that is to fight back. Don't take it laying down. You have to get prepared for those CDRs. I've done a bunch of videos on CDRs. We've set up a website to help people, to help each other. Let me pull up the website here. It's 24help.org. It's a free website. You go in there and it's a discussion group for people on Social Security retirement, disability, Medicare, Medicaid. You need help with housing. You need to crowdsource. You need, send it out there and help people and see if they can help you. But you click on the Social Security disability and it has a disability discussion group for those people that are filing for disability, appealing disability. And there's also a group for CDRs. So if you want to know how to prepare for a CDR, that's the group for you. If you currently have the documents in your hand, the CDR review in your hand, whether it's a work or a medical CDR, that's the group for you. If you're thinking about going to work while receiving disability, you can 100% go to work while you're receiving disability benefits, but there's a lot of limitations. So definitely check out the website there. The Medicaid discussion group is going to be a big one going forward because there's a lot of people going to be losing Medicaid. So you have to fight back. You have to make sure you're prepared for the continuing disability reviews. Number one, as I talk about all the time, my philosophy is FCF on CDRs, acronyms. Forget about it until you actually get it, because it's a budget issue. Congress determines how many CDRs are done every year. It's not necessarily, okay, you're due a CDR. Even if you're due a CDR, you might not get it because that local office doesn't have a budget. Now it looks like they have a budget, but one of the problems is that they might have a budget and they're told to do it, but they have no staff in the local offices. So there's your CDR somewhere under that stack of paper there. And whether it's going to be addressed correctly, that's a whole different issue. So that's where the fight back comes from. You have to make sure you're prepared. You get help from other people that are going through the process. We've got retired Social Security employees that can help you through the process. Those are one-on-one appointments, but you definitely have to fight back to make sure you don't lose those benefits. If you're eligible for disability, then you're eligible for disability. You shouldn't lose it because of some bureaucratic BS. I think that's the technical term. All right, and group 3, more money. Can't tell you how many people out there are struggling, making their lives so much more difficult because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know that there's other benefits out there available to you. All right, let's go down the list here. So I talk about this all the time, and my regular viewers know this. They go out there and they share it in their community. They help their relatives and friends and neighbors. So if you're new here, you are now part of the best community on social media, and you're watching this video for yourself, but you're also watching it for all those people in your community. So take this information and go out there and help your community. One way you can do it is comment down below, and it helps the algorithm. And so, whatever. So make whatever comment that, hey, I got a CDR, it wasn't a problem, or whatever. Okay, so the more money. If you're receiving disability benefits and you are about to turn 60 years old, you are still eligible for what's called surviving spouse benefits. So if you were ever married to someone that passed away, and if it was a divorce, you had to be married to that person for 10 years. If you were married to the person when they passed away, you had to be married for at least 9 months. Still, you have to be single now, but you can file for surviving spouse. You can actually, after 60, you can file for surviving spouse benefits even after being married. So there's an exception for surviving spouse benefits on marriage. But a lot of people think because they're on disability benefits, SSDI, they can't get other benefits. 100% incorrect. And one of the main reasons is there's a lot of people out there that say, okay, I'm receiving disability benefits. And because I'm receiving disability benefits, I'm receiving Medicare. Because if you're on disability benefits, after 24 months of being on disability benefits, you're automatically qualified for Medicare. So people, let's say you got someone that's 60 years old, they're receiving disability benefits, they got their Medicare, Part A, Part B, Medicare Advantage plan, usually because most states you can't get a Medicare supplement plan. And they say, oh, I was married to someone, and I'm eligible for surviving spouse benefits, and I could get an extra $300 a month if I switch to surviving spouse benefits. And that's what they think. That's incorrect. Okay, if you're going to get $300 extra dollars, good, perfect. But you're not switching anything. You're adding. If you go get that $300 extra a month from a deceased spouse, that will just add on top of your disability benefits. One offsets the other. So let's say you're eligible for $1,300 from a deceased spouse, and you're currently receiving $1,000 from disability. You'll continue to receive your $1,000 from disability. They will just add that extra $300, not $1,300. You won't get $2,300. One offsets the other. So you get your $1,000 for disability, and you'll get an extra $300 from that deceased spouse. And here's the trick, because you still have disability benefits, your Medicare is going to continue. So a lot of people say, no, I don't want to go get that extra $300 because that's going to stop my Medicare, and I need my Medicare, I need my health care, and I can't wait till I'm 65 years old to file for regular Medicare. So I won't get that extra $300. You can't imagine how many people are out there like that are refusing that extra money because they think their Medicare is going to stop. It's not. It's not. And the other side of that is people just said, well, I'm on disability, so I guess I can't get anything else. So they don't even check to see if they can get that extra $300. And so like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment, and let's teach these stupid algorithms to get this information out there. Okay, so 60 years old, you can file for surviving spouse benefits. At 62 years old, you can file for spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. That's when your ex-spouse is still out there alive and kicking. They're at least 62 years old or on disability, but are at least 62 years old and haven't filed for benefits yet. That doesn't matter whether they filed for benefits. That's another thing a lot of people are missing money on. So we're going to do a live Q&A here in about 3 or 4 minutes. So make sure you type your questions in there, and there's always exceptions to the exceptions. I'll spend the rest of the hour answering your questions if you've got any on all of this. Okay, 62 years old. Same type of situation. If you're eligible for benefits, you're going to continue to get your disability benefits. You'll just get that extra added on top of it. Spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, whatever. And because you're still going to have your disability benefits, you're still going to get your Medicare. Okay. All right. And the other thing you need to watch out for is when you turn 65, as I mentioned, when you're on disability benefits, in most states, all you can get is a Medicare Advantage plan, because in most states, the health insurance companies don't want to give you a Medicare supplement plan because it's going to cost them a lot of money. So they you're not able to get it in most states. But if you're on disability benefits and you were only able to get a Medicare Advantage plan in your particular state, and you actually wanted a Medicare supplement plan, a plan G or a plan N or whatever the case may be, and you weren't able to get it, guess what? When you turn 65, they can't deny you. Pre-existing conditions, all that other BS, can't deny you. So at 65, if you're on disability benefits, you're approaching 65, check it out. See if you wanted to get okay, well, that was never really offered to me, and what is it? So you can call Chapter or whoever, and they can walk you through it and see if one's a good one is a good fit for you. They'll look at all the plans in your area. They'll tell you what a Medicare supplement plan is, a G and an N, what's different between that and Medicare Advantage plan, and all the rest of it. And if it's good for you, they can't refuse you. If it's not, then at least you checked it out. And this is also the time we're also in the midst of the AEP, the annual enrollment period. So a lot of people are saving a lot of money for 2026. They're getting all their coverage that they've paid for. So definitely you've got until December 7th. And some people are having a Chapter is crazy popular right now. A lot of people want them to help them. So particularly so they can help them fight the Medicare Advantage plans and Part D plans for the rest of the year when they get denied or prior authorizations or have billing problems. So Chapter has a phenomenal customer service unit that helps you throughout the year. So a lot of people want to use Chapter, and they're getting a lot of calls. I just got so if you're having a hard time getting through your Chapter, email me at ed@mygovexpert.com. We just got some personal appointments just for our awesome community because we are the best in the country. So Chapter gave us some special a link to schedule put us kind of front in the line because we're the best. Y'all are the best. So, and they recognize that. So, because you all help each other out all the time. Okay, so. And then, so 60, surviving spouse benefits, see if you're eligible for that. Add that money on there. 62, spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits. 65, see if Medicare supplement plan was a better option for you once you hit your full retirement age at 67 years old. Then you're switching over to retirement benefits. There's another trick in there that a lot of people don't know. You can actually stop your Social Security benefits at your full retirement age, suspend them voluntarily, and allow them to accumulate those delayed retirement credits, or your benefits increase by 8% every year. So a lot of people don't know that one. Pretty much nobody knows that one. Even Social Security employees don't know that one. If you go in there and asking for it, they probably won't know what you're talking about. There may be one person in the office. Well, there used to be one person in the office that was a Title II technical expert that probably knew, but yeah, Elon Musk and them, yeah, pretty much got rid of all those really, really experienced people. So, but if you ever have that, if you ever want to do that, make sure you join us, and I'll give you the link to tell you how to do that. And the only other thing is, in terms of disability, a lot of people don't recognize there's a program called DWIB, Disabled Widows Benefits. So I've got a video question that kind of asks that question, so I'll kind of answer it partly now. A DWIB claim, a disabled widow's benefits, is you can get between the age of 50 and 59, and that you get that based on the deceased spouse's work record. So if you're a disabled widower, you don't have to necessarily file for benefits on your own record. You file for benefits on the record of the deceased spouse. It's called disabled widow's benefits between 50 and 59. And then obviously, when you hit 60, then you can just file for regular surviving spouse benefits on that person's record. So, all right. I think we've got all of that. So I'm sure people have tons of questions about all of it. So let's get into some of your live questions here. Nancy, maybe I should put my question in now. Yep. My brother just turned 70 and was laid off last week in California. He wants his Social Security, but no one answers. Yeah. And that's, don't blame Social Security, the employees. The politicians are the one that are hamstringing the Social Security Administration and the offices. They want customer service to be terrible, so you will hate Social Security, and then they can do with it as they will, as they want to privatize it. So, All right. So yeah, he just has to, unfortunately, right now they're putting AI in charge of the phone, so he might have to play around with phone. So call the 800 number, the national number, but also call the local office there, set up an appointment. It's important that you do it, that he does it immediately, if not sooner, before the end of the month, because every month you wait, he could lose a month of benefits. So might have two issues that if he was laid off last week, if he's going to be losing his health insurance because he had health insurance from work, if he's going to be losing that, I would definitely go down to the local Social Security office. I wouldn't do it online. I wouldn't wait for a phone appointment. I would go down to the local Social Security office and say, hey, you have to see me now because it's the end of the month and I'm going to lose my health insurance at the end of the month. And I need my, if he hasn't already set up for Medicare, Part A, Part B, and a Medicare supplement or Advantage or whatever, then he needs to get that ball rolling immediately. So he isn't without health insurance like 20 million Americans are going to be without health insurance when they get kicked off the Affordable Care Act. So he needs to get that addressed as soon as possible. If he refused Part B because he had health insurance from work, then he has to fill out a couple of forms and take that down. And let me show you. You can go onto my website. It's our other website. It's mygovexpert.com. We have two websites. We have mygovexpert.com, which has information on Social Security, retirement, survivor, Medicare, overpayments, living overseas, appeals, all that kind of good stuff. So we have two websites, the 24help.org and then the mygovexpert.com. So for him, if he is signing up for Medicare Part B after the fact, because he declined it when he turned 65 because he had health insurance from work, which was the smart idea. But now he just has to prove that he did, in fact, have health insurance from work since he turned 65. So these are the two forms that are needed. He definitely needs this one right here, the request for employment information. So he takes this form and there's the click there, but you can just have him send them. It's a CMS L564. He just fills that out, takes it down to his employer, and his employer verifies that he did have health insurance from work since he turned 65, and that way he won't get the penalty. So helped with Medicare Advantage Patriot back in September, and also to update it for the upcoming January 1st. Wonderful group of people. Jay, Jacob, Martian, Eric. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate it. Yeah, they're having a tough time. They could hire 500 more people for this 53-day period, but 80, 60, 70, 80% of the calls they get are in 53 days. What are they going to do with those other 500 people in the other 300 days of the year? So the government always sets people up for failure sometimes, don't they? It's politicians. Yeah. Let's see what else. I will look at my own account and see if it's easy. I had no problem getting mine last year at 66. Yeah, if you're prepared and you know all the ins and outs, that's the trick. You don't know what you don't know. Thanks. Yes, I was going to call him to see if he made progress today. He's in California. I'm in Maine, too far. Yeah, so number one, thank you for looking out for your family. You are too awesome. Let's see what other questions here. Oh, we got people that some donated. I appreciate it. My raises will be much more than the COLA. Where do I need to go to fill the papers for that help? My raises will be much more than the COLA. Not sure what that means. There is, maybe you're talking about the raise of Part B. There's a provision at Social Security called the hold harmless provision. And if your COLA increase, that 2.8% for 2026, if it doesn't cover the cost of the Medicare Part B increase, then they will discount your Medicare Part B. So if you only get $7 more from the COLA, then they're not going to increase your Part B by $17. So they adjust that. They've done that a few times over the last 10, 15 years. So I've never heard of a congressional. I've never called any of my representatives, and he's California, so there's So that's way different. Is San Francisco scandal? Okay, yeah, congressional. It's that's kind of an inside the gateway. That's what Social Security. Well, Social Security employees, other agencies call when you're having a hard time getting service from any agency, and you contact your congressional person. It's called a congressional. Yeah, so that's. Um, Let's see what else if someone's talking about that. Let's do a couple of the videos that we've got today. Let's see what we've got.
Hi, I want to ask a question. I was married for 30 years to a man who had multiple sclerosis, and I have a spotty work record myself because of caretaking. I'm finding I've divorced him several years back, and I'm finding now I need to take a disability myself. But Social Security says I'm only eligible on my own work record to receive around 700 and something dollars. Would I be able to claim off of my ex-husband, who is now receiving the highest amount of disability? I should tell you that I married 3 years ago. I remarried, but I want to be able to take disability off of my first husband's record because I moved around with him.
Okay, based on what we've just talked about, everybody here knows that no, she can't do that. The only time can between 50 and 59 file on someone else's disability record is if that person is deceased, and doesn't sound like that person is deceased. And she's remarried now. So the only thing she can file for is disability benefits on her own record. And once she turns, if she turns 62 years old, then she can also file for spouse benefits on her current spouse's benefits. But her current spouse has to be receiving Social Security benefits first. Let's see here. I guess they're retiring Doge after all the damage. The centralized unit they call Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, I guess they're going away with that. But all of those people, have their tentacles have gone out to the other agencies, and the current head of the Social Security Administration is a Doge guy. He is also, I guess he's moonlighting as the head of Social Security. He also has a job at the IRS because Social Security is not a big deal. It's only 71 million Americans, seniors and disabled people that depend on it. And so it can be a part-time job, I guess, according to the current administration. It's crazy. It's never happened before in U.S. history. And yeah, the Doge people are still knee deep in Social Security. And they don't know what they're doing, frankly. I believe my CDR was last year. I'm 54. I think I have a 3 to 5 year normal CDR reviews. Has anything changed when they can do the CDRs? No. If you're set up on a 3 to 5 year rotation, then that's the 3 or 5 year rotation. You didn't have one last year, so you're kind of technically due for one. And so they can send you the packet, the short form, to see if they want to make it a full-blown CDR, continuing disability review. But last year, it sounds like they just didn't have the budget. With CDRs, continuing disability reviews, Congress gives Social Security Administration a separate allocation, a separate budget. And then Social Security says, okay, with this budget, we can do 500,000 CDRs, medical CDRs. And then they divide it amongst the different regions, and they divide it amongst the areas, and divide it amongst the offices. And that's where we used to get the yearly quota. Okay, Ed, your office has to do 200 CDRs every month for the rest of the year. And then we'd have to do them. But now they're going to be increasing significantly. And there's just not staff to do them. So I think there's going to be lots of mistakes. It's unfortunate. SSI recipient divorced 2020 after 14 years, owned a business with LLC, closed it in 2014. Injury determined to be TBI from assaults and strangulations. Wow. Any hope in getting SSDI backdated? If you're receiving SSI, that means you're not eligible for SSDI. So when you file for disability benefits, they always, what Social Security employees call you have to address both programs, and both programs are Title II and Title 16. Title II is SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. That's what you paid into when you paid your FICA taxes. Title 16 is Title 16 of the Social Security Act, which is SSI, Supplemental Security Income, a welfare-based program. So when you filed for SSI, whenever, then they also addressed the SSDI part, and they determined at that time that you were not eligible for SSDI. That's why you're on SSI. So there's that. Unless, you have worked since then and now you are eligible for SSDI. So depends. They usually catch that. So just got here. Why are 1 million people losing disability benefits? Yeah, you can just once this video is finished, then what YouTube does, it puts it into kind of the archive there, and you can go into my channel and then click on the little tab that says live, and you'll see close to 2,000 videos there, and you'll see this video in the live tab. So there's usually two tabs. There's the video, which are edited videos that we put up, make them shorter, cut out the live Q&A, and then there's the live. But this will be available the second we stop. It'll be available on the live, so you can rewind it and watch it at your heart's content while you're doing the dishes or cutting the grass or whatever the case may be. Oh, okay, I already answered this one. If you're already on DWIB and 59, does it automatically turn into spouse benefits at age 60 and stay the same? No, it just stays the same. Yeah, you're still considered on disabled widows benefits because until you hit your full retirement age. So yeah, you're still disabled widower receiving benefits on that person's record. So the only time you can get benefits off someone else's record, disability benefits, is DWIB, the disabled widows benefits, DWB, or if you're a child. If you became disabled before the age of 22 and your parent is either receiving retirement benefits, disability benefits, or is deceased, a child under the age of 22 doesn't have work history on their own, pretty much. So they can file for disability. Even though they're not insured for disability on their own record, they can file for disability on a parent's record or a grandparent's record. But that grandparent has to adopt that grandchild, or the parents have to be disabled or deceased. So I'm 55 and receive SSDI and divorced. Can I receive spouse benefits if he's 62 and I'm divorced? No, because you're 55. You cannot file for divorced spouse benefit. You had to be married 10 years, number one. And so you can't file for divorced spouse benefits until you reach the age of 62. So if that person passes away before that, you can file for surviving spouse benefits as early as 60. If the husband passes, do the spousal benefits stay away half of his Social Security benefits as well? No, it's called auto convert. If you're on somebody's record receiving spouse benefits, up to 50%, because that person is still out there alive and kicking, then if that person passes away, your benefit is automatically converted. If you're past your full retirement age. If you're under your full retirement age, Social Security is supposed to give you the opportunity to decide whether to switch or whatever the case may be. But if you're past your full retirement age and that person passes, then it's automatic. You're automatically converted to the living spouse benefit to surviving spouse benefits. I am past my retirement age, but I did not file for Social Security. I am planning to work past 70. I'm 67. Is there something I need to do? Or can I just wait and file when I'm 70? Yeah, if you want, you can just wait until you file to 70 years old. The month you turn 70, your benefits will stop increasing because of your delaying retirement. The COLA increase and all that will still continue. But yeah, those delayed retirement credits stop the month you turn 70 years old. So if you're 67, you can file. Work doesn't matter anymore because you're past your full retirement age. But if you want those extra 8% per year, so an extra 24%, then you wait till 70. So it really depends on your particular situation, how healthy you are, your genes in the family, whether you need the money, bunch of questions there. The only other thing is if you don't have health insurance from work, then you needed to address Medicare there. But if you got health insurance from work, then you're good. So I'm 63. What are the chances of me getting a CDR? I can retire at 67. It really depends. Yeah, it depends when your rotation is, the budget of the local office, and now a lot more CDRs are going to go out because of the increase. And I don't think they're going to be, and unfortunately, they're not going to be addressed correctly because they just don't have the staff. It's unfortunate. I'm handicapped, and I've been since I was 16. My disability is going to be with me until death. Today, I'm 33. I've been denied by SSI for 14 years now. How do I go about this process? Yeah, you just, so you're not eligible for SSDI on your own record because you didn't pay into it. You had to pay, 10 years, 40 quarters. If you're younger, not necessarily 10 years. But you probably don't have the work history to be eligible for SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. So, yep, you apply for SSI. And SSI, because that's a welfare-based program, and if you're under 65, it's because of a disability. So were you denied because they said you weren't disabled, or were you denied because of the SSI part of that low income, low resources? So SSI, the max you can get out of SSI this year is $967. Next year it's $994. So if you have income over that from wherever, then maybe that's why you were denied SSI. But yeah, there should be several reasons. So, and again, we've got our Social Security, our retired Social Security employees that we just put this team together. If you go on to our 24help.org, all of the discussions down there are 100% free, talking to other people in the community and getting help from them. But if you want to talk to one of our experts, there are retired Social Security experts. Unfortunately, we do charge for this. This pays for the website and all the other expenses. So we have added, we've got Mai, she's been with us for a while. You can set up a one-on-one phone appointment with her. We've got a couple of other people, Chandra and Allison, who can help you file for retirement benefits. They can do like a Zoom type thing. If you want to file for disability benefits, we have a couple of retired Social Security employees that can help you do that as well. So we just put together this team based on popular demand. So you get help, and you also help support all our free websites and all our free everything. So you guys are awesome. In our divorce, the ex was not allowed any of my retirement. I specified Social Security as well. Is she entitled anyway? Yes. Doesn't matter what you write in the divorce decree. Social Security doesn't care. So yeah, nice try, but it doesn't affect your benefit. There's so many people out there that they think they can't get benefits from a divorced spouse because it says so in the in the divorce decree, and Social Security doesn't care. It's not relevant. Those are, if you were married to that person for 10 years or more, then you're eligible for those benefits based on the law. So your whatever side deal you come out that says you can't get my Social Security, doesn't matter. When that person goes in and files for benefits on your record, Social Security only asks for two things. We need to prove the marriage, 10 years marriage. Give us the marriage certificate and the divorce decree. And they only look at a few pieces of information. They'll look at 3 things on the marriage certificate and 3 things on the divorce decree. They look at the names, 1 name, 2 names. Yep. When you got married. Divorce decree, plaintiff, defended, when you got married, when you got divorced, that's it. They don't look at the other 20, 30, 40, 50 pages of whatever. Not relevant to Social Security at all. So doesn't affect you or your new spouse or your new children or anything like that. So many people out there that thinks it does. And they're struggling and they say, well, yeah, I could get more benefits off of his or her record, but I gave it away in the alimony. And so I guess I can't. No. I mean, you might have written in there where it says, okay, if you start getting my benefits and you get $500 a month from my benefits from Social Security, which you have every right to, I will then not have to pay you another $500 of alimony. I mean, maybe something along those lines, but Social Security, yeah, that's not relevant. That's completely different. So, greetings, Dr. Weir, and everyone in the chat. Thank you for your work. No, thank you, Faith Pretty, for your work, going out there and helping people and, yeah, sharing and commenting. And yeah, we have to teach these dumb social media algorithms that this is important information that people need to get out there. So 2 questions. My dad is 84. He receives disability benefits. No, he does not. He receives just regular retirement benefits if we're talking about Social Security due to mental illness. So he's just receiving regular retirement. Does this new policy affect him? It's always, yeah, once he reaches, if he's 84, his full retirement age is probably 65. So when he turns 65, his disability benefits stop, and now he's receiving regular retirement benefits. My mom never received survivor benefits. Can she still apply? Depends on who so your mother was married to another person that passed away. Yeah, if she was married to that other person for 10 years or married to that person when that person passed away and they were married at least 9 months, a couple of exceptions there, but yeah, absolutely. It really depends on the benefit amount and how long she was married and all that. So, I am a disabled veteran from a service-connected disability, and I was working for the federal government, had a massive fall, which in turn I had to medically retire. I'm also getting aid and attendance. So if you are a disabled vet receiving disability benefits from the Veterans Administration, that does not stop you from getting disability benefits from Social Security. The eligibility requirements are different. In my office, we had at one time, the most we had is about 100 employees. Now there's probably about 60 employees in my office I used to run. That tells you how, yeah, Doge did a number. And even before that, yeah. In my office, we had dozens and dozens of vets that were receiving disability benefits, 10%, 20%, 30%, or whatever the case may be. But Social Security doesn't give 10%, 20%. You're either disabled, unable to work, or you're not. So there's different eligibility requirements. So if you are disabled, unable to work because of your disability, then I would definitely look into filing for Social Security disability as well. When we turn 62 and we're on surviving disability widow payments, are we still under the wage amount if we want to try and go back to work? I don't understand this stuff. Yes, you are still under the work limitations because you're under your full retirement age. So it doesn't matter what type of benefits you're receiving. They're all what's called retirement benefits. Retirement benefits on your own record, retirement benefits from a spouse, a divorced spouse, surviving spouse benefits are also kind of in the retirement benefit. It all comes out of the retirement trust fund. And if you're receiving those benefits, then you're limited to the amount of money you can make before you hit your full retirement age. And people say, it's my money. It's been like that since day one, since 1935. Social Security retirement is supposed to be a replacement for lost work. So if you choose to take it early, then that's the logic behind that. Whether you agree with it, disagree with it, that's the way it is. So if you're under your full retirement age, which if you're born 1960 and after, then your full retirement age is 67 years old. So you have to stay under the yearly limit. This year, it's the $23,400, and next year, it's $24,480. So, oh, somebody just donated $50. You are too awesome. Charlie donated $2. Who's it? And Charlie did a double, and so 52. You are too awesome. I appreciate it. That'll be a caffeine injection for the entire month. You're too awesome. Appreciate it. If December, I can only make 1950 first year, and part of the work or pay period rolls over to January. What part of check is counted for month of December? Okay, so this is a good follow-up question. You guys are awesome. Another people, I did this video yesterday about the end of the year type mistakes people are making. If you're under your full retirement age, you're limited, the annual limit is 23,400. But there's also a monthly limit. So if it's November, so let's say you made $1 billion up until October. Social Security doesn't care. They only care about once you start receiving your Social Security benefits. So if you start your Social Security benefits in November, they just ask you, okay, we don't care about the $1 billion you made up until now. How much are you going to make this month and next month, November, December? If you say, I'm going to make under $1,950, then they'll start your benefits. If not, they won't. You have to wait till January. So yeah, $1,950 for the month of November, December. So it's basically, yeah, when you get paid. But between you and me and nobody else, it's really hard for them to calculate that because, you know, they get the information from the IRS and the IRS doesn't tell them. You don't tell them, your employer doesn't tell them necessarily, you know, this check is for January through, you know, November 30th and, you know, part of it, yeah. So, but don't tell anybody that. So if Social Security messes that up, which unfortunately they do, and even more because they just don't have the staff to do it right, then if they sent you an overpayment in January, February, March, after they find out and they said, hey, you said you're going to bank under 1950 and looks like you didn't. You just have to go down there and prove. So yeah, I did. It's just your system doesn't catch it. So my mom and dad have been separated for over 50 years, never divorced. So technically they're still married. So Social Security has to abide by state laws. So if whatever state they're in, if that state still determines that they were married, then they're still married according to Social Security, which may be good, might be bad. If they're both at least 62 years old, and if you've got, let's say, okay, your mother wants to file for benefits on her husband's record. If they're still married, then he has to file for benefits first. She files for benefits on her record, then he files for benefits, and then she can file a spouse claim on his. If they're divorced and they've been divorced for 2 years, then she can use that independently entitled divorce spouse claim and file for benefits on his record, even if he hasn't filed himself. Okay, I already answered kind of that question. I did an EP claim with a claim processor, and it took them so long to process. I'm not outside my EP window, so they terminated me. I appealed the termination. Anything else I should do? So that's the extended period of eligibility. So you fulfilled your trial work period, the 9 months, and then 3 months kind of gray area. And then 36 months, you get the extended period of eligibility. A lot of acronyms there. Sorry for people that are, you know, listening for other things. But yeah, you can also do an EXR, if expedited reinstatement. I hate them calling it expedited nowadays because nothing's expedited anymore, and that's what politicians have chosen, is to not provide customer service. So you will hate Social Security and hate Social Security employees, and they're doing a phenomenal job there. But you can do an EXR, expedited reinstatement, which basically you have to have the same disability, and the reason your disability stopped is because of work. So if you're no longer working or working under the, you know, substantial gainful activity and everything, then file an EXR. But it has to be the same disability, and the reason your benefits stopped is because of work. So file the expedited reinstatement, and they have to go through all that. Word of warning. Social Security employees hate EXRs because they're just a nightmare. They don't happen very often. They haven't updated the computer system, and so it's all manual. And so just give the employee a break. They said, oh my gosh, you know, I thought this was going to be a regular appointment, and it's going to be a 3-hour appointment. I've got 50 other appointments after you, and now I'm all I just can't get it done in one day. And so just yeah, just give them a little break. Unless they're rude. If they're rude, then yeah, then complain. So I'm 63, disabled. I can get additional money based on a retired living spouse. Yes, if the numbers work. If your benefit amount, your full benefit amount is less than half of theirs, then absolutely. So you're already filed for benefits. So retired living spouse. So is this your current spouse? So your current spouse, he has to be receiving benefits first. And then you file for benefits on his records as a spouse. And if your benefit amount, your full benefit amount is less than half of his full benefit amount, don't look at your checks. That's not what they look at. They look at what's called the PIA, your primary insurance amount, which is your benefit at your full retirement age, which if you're receiving disability, that's pretty much what it is. And then, so make sure you're looking at the right numbers. But if he's divorced, if y'all are divorced, then you had to be married 10 years. And yeah, again, the numbers have to be correct. The numbers have to be there. So, all right, let's see. I am 67, living on SSDI, about to be charged $200 for Medicare. How do I apply for money for my ex-wife? We were married 20 years. I never remarried. Do I have to go through U.S. Air Force to get benefits? Well, military benefits, yeah, you have to reach out to veterans on that. I'm bringing on a veteran. Got another channel, so we're going to do some collaboration with a veteran that knows veteran benefits. I never really used my military veteran benefits that much, even though I was in 8 years. You're about to be charged $200 plus for Medicare. So yeah, not sure why you're just getting around to this at 67. Maybe you lost your health insurance. You've just been on disability for 2 years now, whatever the case may be. So yeah, if you're married to that person, you're married 20 years and you are now divorced and he is at least 62 years old, I would definitely call and see if you're eligible for any benefits on his record. Absolutely. And remember, you're 67, you're no longer on SSDI. Your SSDI stopped, if you're 67 today, it stopped yesterday, last month. So you're on regular retirement benefits. If you're having a hard time paying for Medicare, then I would reach out to the state and apply for Medicaid and see if you're eligible. And if you are, and you're eligible at the higher levels, then they will pay for your Part B, the $185 or $202.90 for next year. But I would definitely check that out. But yeah, I would call and say, hey, am I eligible for benefits on my ex-spouses or my current spouses? And they will look if you have that person's social security number to make everything easier. But if not, no big deal. Just give the social security employee that person's name, their date of birth, their age, and where they were born, city and state, and they'll be able to find that social security number and see if there's any more money there. Do it immediately, if not sooner. Do it by the end of the month, because if you wait till next month, you just might lose a month worth of benefits. So every time the calendar changes, if you didn't do something, you're going to lose money. So you have to do it immediately. If disabled at 27 and only have 20 work credits and remains on SSDI after 62, do work credit freeze rules allow them to retire at 62? No, if you've only got the 20, you need 40. There is a freeze thing, but doesn't really affect retirement benefits. So yeah, there are some exceptions in there. But I would, if you're receiving SSDI and you retire at 62, ask this question all the time. I'm receiving disability benefits. I should go ahead and start retirement benefits at 62. And my answer is always, yeah, if you want to cut your check by 30%, go for it, because then you're going to be stopping your disability benefits and you're going to be switching to retirement benefits at 62. And because you're filing for retirement benefits, if you're eligible, you got the credits, then you're going to get a cut of 30%. So if you're receiving disability benefits, you don't file for retirement benefits on your own record. you file for benefits on somebody else's record, a spouse, divorced spouse, deceased spouse. So my wife is 55 and she is diagnosed with Parkinson's. Wow. And she had earned 19 credits in Social Security. I'm 68 and I'm receiving Social Security since I reached my retirement age. Can she apply for disability? Doesn't sound like it. She doesn't have the work credits that she needs. But she can file for spouse benefit. Well, no, she can't. She's 55. So the only time she can file for disability benefits on your record is when you shuffle off your mortal coil, which is not going to happen for another 50 years. So she will, when she turns 62, then she can file for spouse benefits on your record. So they will make her file for benefits on her own record, and then they'll see that she's not entitled because she doesn't have the work credits. And then they'll say, okay, we've addressed that issue. Now we're going to go ahead and file for spouse benefits on your record. And she'll get, benefits from your record. When she turns 65, she'll get Medicare from your record. And then if anything should happen to you, her benefits will switch from living spouse benefits to surviving spouse benefits, which usually pretty much doubles that benefit amount. Thank you so much for making these videos and doing live videos and answering our questions and helping us. I truly thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I thank you for sharing and commenting. And we're kind of, we're kind of slaves to these crazy algorithms that sure, cat videos and all that is fun and everything. But yeah, these type of videos really need to get out there. A lot of people nowadays are struggling. They have benefits available to them. They just don't know. And unfortunately, politicians aren't allowing Social Security to get the word out there enough. So I could do thousands of videos, which I've done. It's not going to help anybody, and unless y'all share. So I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And let's see. We've got some other video questions.
Hi, I'm 62. Christy Cortinas. I retired at 62. I'm now 69. My husband retired at his full retirement of 67. We are in the process of getting a divorce, which will be final January 17th. I'm wondering if I should apply for spousal support through Social Security benefit before I get divorced or after I get divorced, or does it make a difference?
Yes, it makes a big difference. Run to the phone. Are you out there? Please say you're out there. Run to the phone right now, because if your benefit amount is less than half of his full benefit amount, then you've been eligible for benefits for a while. Sounds like he's already receiving his benefits. You hopefully are receiving benefits on your own record. If not, you'll have to file for benefits on your own record. So because you're still married, you're receiving benefits on your record, he's receiving benefits on his record. If your benefit amount, your full benefit amount is less than half of his, then you've been eligible for a while. Doesn't matter divorce. No issue with the divorce whatsoever. You can get those benefits now. So run to the phone, because it's the end of November here. And if you wait until December, you're going to lose a check. So get to the phone, call Social Security, the 800 number, the national number, or your local office, and schedule an appointment. And then what's probably going to happen, they said, okay, all right, we'll schedule an appointment. It'll be like January or February. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose money. No, because you called and scheduled an appointment, it's called protective filing, you're good. So once you get in there and file in January or February, the employee, they better say, okay, we're going to start your benefits in November when you first called us, because that's when the protective filing, what it's called. So we're going to start your benefits in November. Is that what you want? Yeah. Okay. Then, so please, I know you're running to the phone right now to schedule an appointment. So.
Hi, Dr. Ed. My name is Eric. I'm calling from Richmond, Virginia. I will be 50 this year. I've been on disability for the last 10 years for schizophrenia. I have a payee representative who helps me out with all my paperwork and helps manage my condition and my money. Just to give you a little background there, we also go through my CDRs together. In talking about all these changes for 2026 and moving forward and the increase in CDRs, I keep hearing online, not from your channel, but from other channels, about CDIs, continuing disability investigators. And I'm a little concerned because that seems like that would be something that would impact those with mental impairments more than those with physical impairments. Can you speak about that, CDIs, and how that would directly impact somebody like me?
Okay. They're called cooperative disability investigations, and they were started when I was with the agency, and now they're pretty much in every state. Some states have two, like California has two. And they're cooperative in the sense that there's a Social Security employee that knows Social Security regulations and work incentives and all that disability type stuff. And then there's also OIG, Office of the Inspector General. And they just go out there and they do the right thing, hopefully. Well, they're supposed to do the right thing. They're supposed to go out there and stop Social Security disability fraud. People that are, not eligible for disability benefits because they're working, but they're hiding their work or stuff like that. So that's what they go, and they get those leads from y'all. And y'all call the Social Security office and says, hey, this person is working and they're working under the table and stuff like that. And what the Social Security Administration does is they don't necessarily contact those people immediately. They they send out forms, a work CDR, and said, hey, you just need to fill this out. And that way they've got proof. When you fill it out, then you fill it out under penalty and perjury, you sign it and you return it. And then Social Security says, okay, here's what we heard. And here's what you attested to yourself. You filled out this paperwork. And so then they, move on to that. And if it looks even more suspicious, then they call the CDI unit, and the CDI unit goes out there and monitors them and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're doing the right thing, sounds like you're doing the right thing. You've got a representative payee. That is awesome. So congratulations to that representative payee. Looks like they're taking really good care of you. So thank you to them for looking out for other people. If you're doing the right thing, you're not working, then don't get paranoid. There's social media channels out there. There's things you need to be paranoid about, but there's some social media channels out there that at the same time call Social Security the most incompetent agency in the history of the world. And at the same time, they also say, oh my gosh, these are Black Hawk helicopters and they know everything and they're so smart and they're the most advanced spy agency in the history of the world. It's either, oh, come on, you can't have it both ways. You can't, say, oh my gosh, these guys are all incompetent and they know everything. So anyway, so yeah, just keep on keeping on what you're doing. And those people, probably a majority of the people that, as we used to say, dropped the dime on a relative or a neighbor, whoever who was working, remember, people on Social Security disability insurance, they can work. It's just a lot of limitations. Remember, when you're 67, you turn your full retirement age, there is no more limitations. But before then, there's limitations. You've got a trial work period, you've got the extended period of eligibility, you've got IRWIs, you've got all these different limitations. So you are able to work, but very limited amounts. And in my office, personal experience, a majority of the people calling in and dropping the dime on their ex or, neighbor or something like that, we send out the paperwork and then we do the review and everything. And it turns out, yeah, they are working, but they're staying within the limits. And so, they're good. So it's very difficult. If you think someone is working and receiving disability benefits, yeah, definitely. Notify whoever, but the Social Security will do an investigation and check it out. But be careful doing it. Again, people can work and collect disability benefits. If you're receiving disability benefits and someone dropped a dime on you like that, and then you had to do the work CDR and jump through all that, let us know. Yeah, it happens, unfortunately. Apply for that. But in terms of,
I have a question. If you
you're eligible for survivor benefits,
were divorced and you're not going to start your Social Security benefits till you're 70, can you collect if your ex-spouse has already started retiring, receiving Social Security benefits? Can you receive their whatever their benefits are until you decide to?
No. And when you record a video, you can record a video by going on to my website, mygovexpert.com. And on the bottom left, you'll see a little camera icon, and you can click it there and you can record a video question. But no, used to be able to do that in 2016 under certain, certain situations, but they changed the law in 2016. If you file for benefits on a spouse's record, if that spouse is out there as alive and kicking, as surviving spouse, you can, but if that person is still alive, then you have to file for benefits on your own record first. So you have to file for benefits on your own record, and then you file for spouse benefits. So you can't delay one. You used to be able to do that under certain circumstances, but they ended that in 2016. All right. Y'all are, you guys are too awesome. Thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing, and commenting and all that kind of good stuff. It really helps everybody out. And let's see, I'd like to stop doing these videos on disability because everybody is getting the benefits they're eligible for and they need. A lot of people out there are struggling, but I'll continue to do this kind of version of this particular video every few months because I'm sure we'll get to someone that needs help. And y'all are helping them out. You guys are awesome. All right, y'all take care. Have a beautiful night. And please, 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 please